Welcome. Jump in the stream, jump in the stream. We are finna deep dive into Black History Month, guys. We gonna vibe in real quick, get some people in the stream. This gonna be a good one. Let's go. I know we said we was doing a Q&A, but we had to get our energy back right. Let's go. Welcome, welcome, Chaos. Salute, 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 salute to the troops. Happy Black History Month. It is Black History Month, so we gon' do 28 days of Black History. We gon' give y'all some untold stories, some archive videos, all that good stuff. But today, we gonna start off with 100-year plot to erase Black History Month, and it is continuing right now. So we gonna get to it, we gonna get to it. Put it on the side screen of the live stream. Exotic Lifestyle said with a smile, guys.
They are destroying history. While you're scrolling social media and watching celebrity drama, powerful people are quietly erasing us from the American story.
That part.
The Kennedy Center just scrubbed Black History Month from their February 2026 calendar. The Smithsonian is reviewing exhibits for patriotic alignment.
The
military removed Juneteenth programming from their websites. State
Let's pay attention.
After state is gutting African Americans.
They don't like this video.
They call it restoring
American. Show it.
What values are they really restoring? This is the same racist playbook used for generations, but now they have found the perfect cover. Let empty calendars replace outright bans. Let parental right replace censorship. Let budget cuts replace literacy laws. If this can happen on the 100th anniversary of Black History Month, in broad daylight, at the most prestigious cultural institutions in America, then Black history is not just being rewritten, it is being...
Y'all already know they gotta come with these sponsorships though. So let's get through it. We finna skip through it. They don't want this to be heard, seen,
surgically
none
removed
of that
from American life, and they are counting on your silence to finish the job. The scene at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., February 1st, 2026. 100 years since Carter Woodson created Negro History Week. The marble halls should be filled with celebration. The theaters should showcase Black excellence. The calendar should overflow with programs honoring our heritage. Instead, you find almost nothing. A few token events scattered across the month. Generic programming that could happen any February. The center that calls itself America's living memorial to President Kennedy, the man who started the civil rights legislation, has essentially abandoned Black History Month on its centennial anniversary. But this is just the warning shot. The Kennedy Center decision did not happen in a vacuum. It is part of a coordinated strategy that has been rolling out across federal agencies, museums, schools, and cultural institutions since 2025. The new administration came in with what they called patriotic mandates for all federally funded organizations. Museums had to review their exhibits. Schools had to audit their curricula. Military bases had to evaluate their...
y'all already know they is finna throw as many ads in this video as they can. But pay attention. We can't stay quiet.
Diversity programming. On paper, it looked like routine policy review. In practice, it became a systematic purge of Black historical content. Here is how they did it. First, they targeted the newest programs. Juneteenth celebrations that started after 2020 suddenly federal funding. Diversity training programs in government agencies got labeled divisive and eliminated. The AP African American Studies course, which took decades to develop, was stripped of content about systemic racism, modern civil rights movements, and contemporary Black intellectual thought. They left behind a sanitized version focused only on slavery, early civil rights, and individual achievement stories that do not challenge white comfort. And this is exactly how they get away with it. By the way, if you want more hidden stories like this, subscribe to Black Stories Untold.
Pay attention.
Now, back to what happened next. Then they moved to established institutions. The Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History received new interpretive guidelines that emphasized shared American values over racial narratives. Translation: stop talking about how racism actually worked and focus on feel-good stories about Black people who succeeded despite it. The National Park Service quietly changed fee policies so that Martin Luther King Day and Juneteenth no longer guaranteed free admission to historic sites. Small change, huge symbol. Even honoring our heroes costs extra now. The military purge was swift and silent. Base commanders received memos to remove non-essential diversity programming from their websites and community calendars. Buffalo Soldiers exhibits came down for renovation and never went back up. Black History Month programming on military social media accounts dropped to almost nothing. When pressed, officials claimed budget constraints and refocusing on core mission readiness. But somehow, they found money for more Confederate memorial maintenance. State education departments followed the federal lead. Florida had already been cutting African American content from textbooks since 2023. But now, states like Texas, Georgia, and South Carolina joined the effort. They did not ban Black History Month outright. That would be too obvious. Instead, they issued curriculum-focused guidelines that prioritized foundational American principles and patriotic education. Teachers could still mention Black history, but they had to frame it within America's journey toward equality, rather than ongoing with racism. The genius of this strategy is its surgical precision. They left the symbolic shell while removing the substance underneath. Schools still have Black History Month assemblies, but they feature sanitized stories about Rosa Parks being tired instead of strategic resistance movements.
Exactly.
Museums still have Black history exhibits, but they emphasize individual triumph over systemic oppression. The Kennedy Center still has some Black performers in February, but not programs that specifically examine Black historical experience or contemporary civil rights issues. This is not accidental. This is not budget cuts. This is not neutral policy. When you systematically remove Black historical content from federal institutions during the 100th anniversary of Black History Month, that liberal.
You already know what that is. They interrupt the important stuff at always. You talking the truth, I know what it do. And they're gonna put in as many sponsorships, ads, everything they can, just so you won't click on it.
Deliberate erasure.
To it.
When you do it simultaneously across multiple agencies while claiming patriotic operation, that reveals coordination. When you specifically target content that connects historical racism to modern inequality, that shows intent to control the narrative. The pattern becomes clear when you see who benefited from these changes. Private educational companies that specialize in patriotic curricula received massive federal contracts to replace diversity training programs. Conservative think tanks got grants to develop new museum interpretive materials. The same organizations that spent decades attacking multiculturalism and civil rights education suddenly found themselves writing official guidelines for federal cultural institutions. But the full is even bigger than this. This erasure strategy builds on a century of attacks against black historical memory. After Reconstruction, white historians rewrote textbooks to minimize slavery's brutality and glorify the Confederacy. During the Civil Rights Movement, they attacked Black Studies programs as
So I had the audio off. I'm not sure how far we are in, but we might have to redo. I'm not sure, but we gonna finish first.
racism. In the 1990s, they fought against including slavery in museum exhibits and national memorials. Every generation, the method changes, but the goal remains the same. Control how America remembers its relationship with black people. What makes the current moment different is the scale and sophistication. Previous erasure efforts targeted specific programs or regions. This campaign operates simultaneously across federal agencies, state governments, educational institutions, and cultural organizations. Previous efforts were openly racist and generated resistance. This campaign uses colorblind language about unity and shared values that makes opposition seem divisive. The 2026 Kennedy Center calendar represents the perfect example of modern erasure technique. No administrator had to write a memo saying, cancel Black History Month. Instead, budget meetings discussed streamlining programming. Scheduling committees emphasized broader audience appeal. Marketing departments wanted less controversial February content. Each decision sounded reasonable in isolation. Together, they eliminated substantive Black historical programming from America's premier cultural institution during the most significant anniversary in Black History Month's existence. And this is where everything connects. The people orchestrating this erasure understand that controlling historical memory shapes political reality. If Americans learned that racism was systematic, government-sponsored, and economically profitable, they might support systematic government solutions like reparations, education equity, or criminal justice reform. If Americans only learned that racism was individual prejudice overcome by legal progress, they will oppose unnecessary programs that address ongoing racial inequality. The Kennedy Center calendar is not about February programming. It is about ensuring that future generations of Americans never fully understand how white power was constructed and maintained through law, policy, and violence. It is about making sure they never connect historical exploitation to contemporary wealth gaps, educational disparities, or political representation. It is about preserving a version of American history that makes white people comfortable and black demands for justice seem unreasonable. This is why they targeted the 100th anniversary specifically. Carter Woodson created Negro History Week in 1926 because he knew that controlling the story controls the future. He watched white historians erase black contributions from textbooks and understood that historical amnesia was a political weapon. 100 years later, his fears are being realized on a scale he could never have imagined. The erasure is not complete yet, but the infrastructure is in place. Federal agencies now have patriotic mandates that can eliminate any program deemed too critical of American institutions. State education departments have curriculum guidelines that minimize discussion of systemic racism. Cultural institutions have interpretive frameworks that emphasize individual stories over collective struggle. The legal and bureaucratic tools exist to systematically remove black historical content from American public life. What happened?
Y'all see what's going on, right? They're trying to erase our life, our history, the month, everything you can think of, guys.
What happens next depends on resistance. The Kennedy Center calendar controversy generated protests from civil rights organizations and Congressional Black Caucus members, but mainstream media coverage was minimal. Most Americans never learned that their premier cultural institution abandoned Black History Month during its centennial year. Erase Your Strategy is exactly what the stakes could not be higher. Black History Month was never just about celebrating the past. It was about ensuring that each generation understands the continuous struggle for freedom and equality in America. It was about connecting historical resistance to contemporary movements for justice. It was about making sure young Black people see themselves as part of a proud tradition of survival, achievement, and resistance against impossible odds. When they erased that history, they erased the foundation for future resistance. When they reduce Black history to sanitized success stories, they eliminate the context that explains why Black communities still face educational underfunding, economic exclusion, and political marginalization. When they remove Black History Month from the Kennedy Center calendar, they signal that Black historical memory is not essential to American cultural life. The 100th anniversary of Black History Month should have been a national celebration. Instead, it became a test of whether America would honor or abandon Carter Woodson's vision. The Kennedy Center failed that test. The Smithsonian compromised. The military went silent. State education departments chose comfort over truth. Federal agencies prioritized politics over historical accuracy. But the story is not over. Every time they try to erase us, we have found ways to preserve and share our history. Carter Woodson created Black History Week because white institutions would not tell our stories. When they try to sanitize Black History Month, we can create new platforms and institutions that tell the full truth. When they empty the Kennedy Center calendar, we can fill community centers, schools, and digital spaces with programming that honors our complete historical experience. This was Black Stories Untold. And as always, thanks for watching. If you want more...
Period. So I apologize, guys. I'm not sure if we had some audio issues. So it seems like they mute me every time I start this stream, and I have to remember that they have me on mute. Well, my screens anyway. So I apologize, guys. We are going to take a quick intermission. If we have any audio issues, we're going to do a part 2, guys. I apologize. I hope y'all paid attention, listen, because we're going to do this. We're going to see if we can go through the whole month. Unfolding the truth, guys. Unfolding the truth. So, guys, we finna pay attention. We gonna learn our history, ancestry, all that good stuff, guys. And we gonna end it with a vibe.
First you tell us that it is manly to keep your word. Right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all of the Black people in this country are demanding, and even the Black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word.